Good afternoon, everyone. First Alert StormTeam meteorologist Joseph Williams with your Valley News Now afternoon update. So the time is currently around 4:28 p.m., actually around 4:30 p.m., and it's a cool day outside. We're seeing temperatures in the teens and 20s across the region, but it is much warmer than yesterday when we were in the single digits, and we're going to get warmer still as we head into the first work week of March. However, I want to first alert you to how, as we deal with that warming temperature trend, we're also tracking another opportunity for precipitation as we head into the latter half of the week. So let's get right to the forecast to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So here's a look at our temperatures. Currently in the teens to 20s across our region, like 25 in Fargo versus 14 in Howlock and 16 in Langdon. Expanding the picture a little bit, those temperatures are the result of this, Arctic air mass that slid into our region over the weekend, but now it's moving east, and we have all this warm air out west that's expanding into our region. And here's what our first alert forecast shows as that warm air lifts into our region. Overnight, we're looking at mostly clear skies, very little cloud cover. By 7 o'clock, cloud cover may build back into eastern North Dakota, but we're still looking at a partly to mostly sunny sky. And thanks to light winds coming in from the south-southwest, temperatures will still stay in the teens heading into your Monday morning commute. By Monday afternoon, thanks to those light southerly winds and daytime heating, we're looking at temperatures in the 30s across the region and mostly sunny skies too. So it's looking gorgeous out there. But tomorrow night, heading into Tuesday morning, there is a chance of some patchy fog forming in the northern valley, which we'll keep an eye on that patchy fog. Again, for temperatures, teens across our region for the morning commute, climbing into the upper 20s to low 30s in the northern areas, and upper 30s in the southern valley, like 39 in Wahpeton and 41 in Sisseton versus 28 in Langdon. Not bad for the first Monday of March. And we'll stay mild. We'll see temperatures in the 20s and 30s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday afternoon. Actually seeing some 40s for the middle of the week, and maybe even a 50-degree reading or two in the southern valley. So Wednesday especially will be very warm. In fact, it will be the warmest day of the week. However, by Friday, as a low-pressure system sweeps into a region, which that is our next weather maker, and I'll go over that in a second. Cold air will filter back in and cause temperatures to drop back into the 20s by the end of the week. And speaking of our next weather maker, this is what I'm talking about. The first half of the week, sunny skies, plenty of sunshine. Thursday and Friday, though, our next weather maker arrives. It'll bring some wintry precipitation into our region in some spots. And then there's another chance of moisture heading into the latter half of the weekend. And as I mentioned, this is our next weather maker, a low pressure system that will first bring some rain and then mix in snow. And here's what that looks like on our first alert forecast. Again, Tuesday and Wednesday will be partly to mostly sunny. Not a bad middle of the week. But as we get to Friday and a low pressure system moves in from Canada into the Central Plains, it'll start bringing moisture into our region. So we'll start with some rain and mix at first, and then transitioning over into snow Friday night into Saturday, drying out by Saturday afternoon, and then we get another opportunity for moisture by Sunday. And just to kind of expand on our next weather maker this upcoming Friday a little more, models do vary on how much precipitation we'll see as well as the timing of the system and therefore what kind of impacts we'll see. The European model, for example, suggesting less wintry precipitation than the American model on the left. So again, it's likely the timing and track may vary. So stick with Valley News Live for some updates as we track that upcoming system. So let's first recap everything. Again, we're looking at a very mild spring-like start to March, which makes sense because this is, today, Sunday, March 1st, is the start of meteorological spring. Astronomical spring is only a few weeks away. And it's going to feel like springtime for the first half of the work week. We'll see highs in the upper 40s by Wednesday and Thursday, dropping back into the 30s by Friday, and then we're going to be in the 40s to 30s well into next Tuesday, and it won't be until the latter half of next week that temperatures drop back to below normal. One other thing before I go, let's quickly talk about our weather outlook for March. I made a mistake with the title there. This is supposed to say March temperature outlook. Anyways, we're going to be above normal in terms of temperatures in the Southern Valley and leaning above average for moisture amounts across a region for precipitation for the month of March. So basically, we're going to be a little bit active, especially in northwest Minnesota heading into the month of March. And we may still trend above normal for temperatures, may see a brief warm up heading into, March, basically slightly above average in terms of temperatures, especially in the Southern Valley. And since our highs tend to be in the upper 20s at the beginning of March and then the 30s and 40s by the end of March, that means we're going to be feeling more and more like springtime as we get closer to the end of March. So again, real quick before I get off of here, first alert recapping, mild week ahead of us, some precipitation chances for the upcoming weekend, time change Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then next week staying mild until the middle of next week. I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be giving updates on the VNN First Alert Weather app, and I'll be back on the OTT desk around 7 o'clock for your tonight, tomorrow forecast. And I'll also be on Valley News Live at 9 and 10. So be sure to tune in to get your latest First Alert forecast. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.